Hey, Pepin.
Yo, yo.
I've been thinking a lot lately about the dentist.
The dentist. Why?
You know how sometimes you go to the dentist because you get a issue?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like there's somebody whose job it is to work on teeth.
I mean, it's a lot better than how we dealt with it in past times, so I prefer it.
Was that like a rock?
A rock, maybe, a hammer, whatever.
A hammer and a rock. Good old my favorite dental tools.
What did you have in mind?
I know a lot of people have stories about dentists and bad times with teeth problems.
Oh, I have a story.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nate, we need to talk. Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I am here once again with my best friend Nathan Pepin. How's it going, Pepin?
Yo, I'm doing well. How about you, Steve?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. We are joined today by special guest, hundreds of miles away, maybe even thousand, Michele Guild. How's it going, Michele?
I'm doing so great.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you for asking.
Absolutely. Happy to have you. Now, so people get a little bit of background about you. Who the heck are you?
Well, I'm no one really. I'm another podcast host in the enigma of hosts of podcasts.
There's a lot of them, but you actually host two separate podcasts. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, my main show is called Welcome to My Show, and then I have another show called Impedecast with a co-host.
Absolutely. And so
Yeah.
I am subscribed to both of these shows. I think they're absolutely outstanding. If anybody hasn't subscribed yet, if this is the first time you're hearing Michele, you're going to get a taste of what she's all about. But so you know, her shows are absolutely outstanding. Impedecast, I think, is an extremely interesting concept. And please correct me if I'm wrong in summing it up to the best of my ability, but you guys put yourselves in situations where it's very hard to podcast. And that's the premise of the show. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really fun. Our first episode was actually recorded at an amusement park while we were on the roller coasters. So we just had a conversation while riding rides.
How hard is that? Because I haven't heard enough time just paying attention right now, like during normal podcasting, but during roller coasters? What?
It's challenging. I think the thing we were most worried about is we have this little handheld recorder, and so holding on to that while flipping upside down got a little iffy, but we did it.
And you've done at a park during a jazz festival. You did Charles E. Cheese episode, and most
Yep.
recently it was actually Black Friday.
Yeah, and it wasn't as noisy around us or hard to record as we expected, because I guess Amazon kind of took over Black Friday. No one goes to the mall anymore.
It's like 50% of all sales were from Amazon, at least online sales.
Yeah, that's not
pretty crazy.
surprising.
It's not, but I think that a lot of the impeding isn't necessarily in the audio itself, although that is the case. You guys try and put yourselves in those situations. I think a lot of times it comes down to the environment as well. So there was one part where you guys were over near like a kid's play area, and like some of the things that happened in that area you couldn't not talk about, and I think it turned out really well. That was a great episode.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we do get distracted by our surroundings and kind of have to explain why we maybe went silent or started laughing. There was also the haunted house one where we kind of tried to explain what was going on, but we were just walking through a setup haunted house throughout that episode.
They all turn out really well, and I highly suggest them. Tell us about Welcome to My Show.
Welcome to my show. It was kind of started after I had another podcast with my cousin and a friend, and it failed miserably because of just some disagreements amongst the
Creative
co-hosts.
disagreements.
Yeah.
So you created this show in spite.
Exactly. And it's doing much better than the other show. So in your face,
Spite
cousin.
successful.
Meters told me a lot about your mom and how she's.
Okay, you phrased that one weird. Go on. You're not wrong.
And how she's an integral part. Not integral, but he said she's very, very funny.
Oh yeah, she's probably one of the funniest people I know.
And she's on your show, correct?
She is occasionally. I think she's been on 2 or 3 times.
And
she's kind of in the background sometimes.
I know the first episode was just a phone conversation with your mom. And I think that if you're going to start anywhere, I do suggest starting with episode 1 because I think it really sets the stage. I classify you as alt comedy in the fact that it's not what you expect from a typical podcast. And I think that's a really good thing. I think it really branches you out in a different way.
Thank you.
It's always really funny. Some of my favorite segments, the Craigslist ones are always hilarious, Misconnections. And of course, Garbage Kitchen is the number 1.
That's my favorite because I like eating weird stuff.
Now, like the episode where your mom fed you while you were blindfolded.
Yeah, that was really scary. I realized I hate being blindfolded, and especially when someone's putting things in your mouth. It's really terrifying.
Well, fair enough. I think that's a very rational fear to have.
Yeah.
So you also run Podcast Iowa.
Yeah, that is very true. It's a branch of Podcast New Hampshire.
It is.
That you run.
It is. I'm actually giving up the reins on Podcast New Hampshire to somebody else, so I can run Podcast USA, a little bit higher tier.
Yeah.
But Podcast Iowa, I mean, it came together so fast. It hasn't even existed a month. It already has a plethora of shows. It has tons of likes on Facebook. So whatever you're doing there is working very well.
Well, good. I'm glad, and it's really fun to see it grow.
Absolutely. So if you're in Iowa and listening to this, then check out podcastia.com. Or hit up Michele on the many places you can find her. Her shows are also, of course, on there. With that said, you mentioned your fear of being blindfolded while people are inserting things in your mouth. Along that same vein, I know recently you've had an issue with on the dental end. Can you talk to that?
I can. It's really embarrassing. There's nothing worse than having like a physical deformity that just happened overnight that you weren't expecting. But I did wake up on Thanksgiving morning with half of my tooth missing.
Oh.
It's not the front one, but it's the one right next to it.
Oh my. So first off, how did it break as far as like how it looks now? Is it like down the middle of it? So like half of it's gone?
It's not a full half, and it's kind of on the side that you can't see it that well if I'm just like looking at you and smiling, which is good. Mm-hmm. But it is a vertical crack and the whole length of the tooth broke off. So now it just looks like I had this huge jagged gap in between my teeth. It's really gross.
How strong is your tongue? You're shattering your own teeth while you sleep.
Well, I think what happened was I recently just got my first wisdom tooth. One just grew in, and it hurt a lot when it was growing in. I had like teething rings I was chewing on like a baby, you know? And so I think what happened was it pushed all my teeth forward, and my 2 side teeth, one of them that cracked, they've always been really tiny. And so I think it just cracked under the pressure of my wisdom tooth pushing them all together.
Just the idea of teeth cracking is making me cringe. Yeah. Ugh.
It's bad, and I haven't been able to get to the dentist yet because they were all closed Thursday and Friday. So I'm just suffering.
Okay. Is there an immense amount of pain?
No, surprisingly.
Interesting.
It's not that bad. It's just so ugly.
So you have this broken tooth. Do you have the other half?
No, I think I ate it.
Oh,
okay.
God.
So to be clear, you don't know where the other half went.
Either me or my cat ate it because I looked for it and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, I have a theory.
Let's hear
you
it.
ever heard of the tooth fairy?
Oh, yeah.
Times are tough in this economy. I think that maybe the tooth fairy came in and busted Just half. She didn't need a tooth, or he just needed half a tooth.
Well, where's my cash?
Well, it's maybe you ate it.
So that's more reasonable than me just eating the other half of my tooth. I ate the cash.
It's possible. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what happened or didn't happen. I'm just saying what could have happened.
Okay.
I think there's other options to you eating your own tooth.
Well, definitely. There's always other options.
It could
But
have
I
been.
think I ate it.
It could have been the. It could have been the chuka. How do you say that? Chupacabra?
Wait,
Chupacabra?
you're
Yeah.
talking about a goat
Wait.
sucker?
The chupacabra comes and eats your teeth?
I don't think that's part of the myth, but I guess it's possible.
It's possible.
Jesus Christ, Nathan. So, Nate, do you have your wisdom teeth?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. I do too. The dentist told me back, this was probably like 10 years ago, your wisdom teeth are coming in. It's going to hurt a lot. You should get them removed. And my parents said, well, is it necessary? And he's like, well, technically, no. They're like, oh, okay. So I still have
Yeah, I
them.
think it depends. It depends on how they look when they haven't popped through the gums yet. And they can kind of determine how they're going to grow in, I guess, if they're going to get in the way of your other teeth.
I haven't been to the dentist in like 15 years right now, so I don't know how my teeth are doing. I think they look all right, but who knows?
So the last time you went, you were like 13?
Maybe I was 15, so maybe it was more like 12 years or something like that. But yeah, kind of to that effect.
You're supposed to go twice a year.
I'm poor. I'm sorry.
No, that's an excuse. I'm lazy.
See, really what I'm worried about is if I go there, they're going to say, man, your teeth are full of cavities. You need to get surgery and stuff
Isn't that
pulled.
something you want to know?
Well, now if it's going to cost a lot of money.
I understand that. I'm in the same boat. I'm terrified to go back to the dentist because I eat a lot of gummy bears. And so I know my teeth are just going to be full of holes that they're going to want to fill.
It's like, no, how long can I get away without, getting these holes filled?
I was
You can
eating
just tell them no.
I was eating cashews the other day, and I was like tonguing the edge of my, like the very back molar and the top end, and I felt a huge hole in my tooth, like a half-inch gap between my gum and my tooth. I'm like, wow, I have a massive hole, but it doesn't hurt. And then the next morning I woke up and it was gone. So I don't know what happened, but apparently I have part of a cashew tooth now. I think the cashew just filled in the gap.
I've had those times where it's like I've been eating chips, like the tip of the chip just lands on your tooth the right way, like in the middle, and it's like the worst kind of pain like you ever experience. It's like, oh my god, fuck, shit.
You've had surgery and a chip on your gums is literally the worst pain.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to put this into context, I've had surgery on my dick, and this was worse pain.
Just the tip of the chip, right?
Yeah, just the tip.
Okay. Now, Nate, you told me that you have a story about a dental issue as well.
Yeah, well, it's not really an issue. I mean, I do have a current dental issue, which is it's like one of my teeth. I got a small chip off. You probably can't see it very much.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's on that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on one of the front ones. And so how that happened was I was at work. I worked at a coffee shop, and we were making bagels. And I was trying to get one of the pans out, and it wasn't coming out. And I was, of course, there with one of my my employees at the time. And I'm trying to just get it out to make the bagels, and it's not coming out. And so I keep pulling harder and harder, and then eventually it comes out, but, I'm not ready for it, and it flies in my face. So I have just a big metal sheet just right in my face,
Wow.
and it chipped a tooth.
That sounds really painful.
Oh.
It was pretty terrible. I don't look too bad for it. People don't notice unless you point it out usually, but it wasn't fun.
Was it a chocolate chip bagel? That's a chip pun. It chipped.
It was really good. It was a really good
I
pun.
worked really hard on that one.
The other little dentist story I have, it's not too much of a story, but it's like way back in the day. It's like they were filling in a cavity, so they gave me laughing gas, and apparently laughing gas is nitrous oxide. And so they gave it to me, and I didn't know what to expect and everything. And I all of a sudden I start having these like super vivid dreams of the dentist like kind of cackling and this kind of machine-like environment, and it was very, very horrifying. And eventually they took the mask off me, like, Nathan, you wake up, you're there. Okay, hey, how you doing? Good. And so I thought I had just fallen asleep and had some messed up dreams. But then later I found out that nitrous oxide is a drug people take to hallucinate with. So I was just tripping balls, just hallucinating right in the dentist's office.
That sounds great.
Turns out that it was all actually true. The dentist was just cackling at your teeth. So I need to know. So the tooth fairy, we mentioned this entity briefly. So did you guys have the tooth fairy?
Yeah.
For a moment.
One moment?
Yeah, I think maybe 5 teeth.
Okay.
But I don't know. I was like, this is dumb. Just give me allowance.
Wait. So you knew all along that it was not a magic fairy?
Right. I knew it was my parents.
Did they tell you, or was that just like?
To the kids listening, it's totally not your parents. How many kid listeners do you have?
Kids should not be listening to our show. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But if you are, you're pretty cool.
So Michelle, were you also savvy about Santa Claus? Were you like, nope, that shit ain't real?
Well, yeah, I was. And I actually remember when I confronted my parents because they kept the lie going longer than I believed it. And I sat them down one day and I started bawling and I was like, why are you lying to me? I already know the truth. And I think my brother, who was older than me, still believed in Santa. I think I was in kindergarten. Like, I was pretty young to call them out on their crap, but they finally did fess up.
Were they like, don't tell your brother?
No, I pulled him in the room too.
Oh, man.
I sat the whole family down and we had a talk.
Murdered Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Live.
Yeah.
Listen, I know the Santa thing, it's not real, and I need you all to stop lying to me. And then your brother's like, wait, it's not?
Yeah, it was like one of these things where I subtly confronted my mom and I was like, listen, I know Santa's not real. And she was like, no, he definitely is. Where do you think those presents come from? And I was like, Mom, no, we're getting the family in here. We're having a discussion.
You had a family round table.
Yeah.
You organized as a kindergartner. That's impressive.
I think, yeah, I was like 6.
This is Supernaut.
This is Forrest.
This is Nate.
This is Unqualified Networks.
Unqualified, unprepared.
And unafraid to say what we think.
You can find more at podcastnh.com.
So you just never believed in the tooth fairy, or did your parents just not like try the tooth fairy angle?
They tried it, but I think it may have been, I'm trying to remember, how old do you start losing teeth?
The first time or the second time?
The first time. Your baby teeth, when do those start falling out of your head?
I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I don't have kids, so thank God.
And he
Yeah,
never
me
was
either.
one.
No, never. No, didn't happen.
I refuse.
I don't think
to
I
believe.
was either. I mean, I never believed in any of that kid garbage.
I did. Unfortunately, it was like Santa Claus. It was like 6th grade until I stopped believing, and I only stopped believing because the teacher told me, "Hey guys, just want to like make sure you guys know Santa Claus doesn't exist."
So Nate believed in the tooth fairy. He believed in the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, Jesus, all of it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle.
All the caboodles. So how much money did you guys get for a tooth? Was it like $1? I know rich kids get like $10 or something.
$1.
I got $1.
A quarter.
I think I got $5 once, and that was like a really important tooth.
Was it a molar?
That's the important tooth right there.
I feel like I got 5 for a molar once.
Oh man, you guys.
Because
were
I had
rich.
I had to really work for that tooth to get it out. Those things hold on.
I think I got like quarters. But I lived with my grandmother, so I think she was running on old people money. It's like, you can take this quarter down and pick up 16 gumballs.
Oh yeah.
Gumballs.
Yeah, it's good for extracting teeth.
Oh, okay.
She was a dentist.
Do you guys remember losing any teeth? Any memorable stories about losing a tooth as a kid?
No. I remember I knocked out a kid's teeth once.
Oh my
How?
god.
Well, we were playing this game that obviously everyone's played, and it's where one kid lays down in a hole while the other people jump over him. You know, classic kid games.
Where was the hole?
It was in my backyard.
Okay.
It was just like a divot, and then we'd run and we'd jump over them for some reason. But I wasn't so good with the jumping, and I jumped, and my whole foot went in their mouth, and they lost some teeth.
Some teeth? You don't know how many?
It was at least 2 or 3. Yeah, it was
Oh,
bad. There was
yikes.
blood.
That's pretty bad.
I can remember 2 moments where I lost some teeth. One moment was like, I think it was one of my, not the front teeth, but I think the canine. I think the one that you ended up breaking there. But it's like I was kind of wiggling on it for like literally 2 months, and it was like coming loose, but it just wasn't coming off. And I was getting really kind of frustrated with it. It's like, just come out. I need that tooth fairy money. And just one day during class, it kind of fell out. And actually, I think I pulled it out a little bit because it's just like, okay, hold on. And I got it out, and I went to the nurse, got a little bag for it, and I was so proud. I made like $1 off that.
Was it worth it?
I think it was.
Come on, Mouth. I got debts to pay. I need that tooth fairy money.
There was one other time, I think it was in the 3rd grade. I think the same grade, honestly, but it's like just kind of minding my own business and stuff, and all of a sudden a tooth just popped out. Like it wasn't like it came out they usually do, like they wiggle and like, oh crap, it's coming out. It just kind of just popped out of my mouth, and it was just in my on my tongue. And it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I didn't say that as a kid, but
You didn't swear until you were like graduated high school, did you?
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, Nate didn't swear. He didn't believe in it.
I don't think
I didn't swear.
Oh, wow. We're the cool kids.
Yeah.
I think the first word I said was fuck.
Now,
Mine was too.
I think it was airplane, but
Michelle, why didn't you swear? I'm just intrigued.
I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know, because I was around family a lot, and they didn't really. They do now, maybe it's because I do around them now. I don't know. I think I rub off on my family a little bit.
Tainted your own family.
Yeah, but I had friends. I remember my friends would be like, let's see if we can get Michelle to say fuck. And I would be that person who they'd be like, it'd be really funny if she said a bad word. And so I think I whispered fuck one day. And like the crowd went wild.
It's the same experience for myself too, because it's like when people learn you don't swear, that's the first thing they try to get you to do. Like, it doesn't matter how long they've known you; they can know you for like 5 seconds. They learn you don't swear. Just say fuck for me. Just say it once, please.
People love that.
What is it about corrupting somebody that's just so damn like you just need it?
It's such an accomplishment.
It's like, man, you are now a worse person for having known me, and I accept that.
Yeah.
Is this something you take pride in, Michelle? Like, how many people have you corrupted?
Oh God.
Oh my God. I don't know. Many.
How have you corrupted them?
That's a hard question.
I think a shorter question would be, how hasn't she?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do remember there was one time, this was back when, I don't know, I guess I was really active on Twitter. Not very, but more than I am now. But there was this girl, I have no idea who she was, but I didn't really filter myself at all. And she claimed that I was her internet hero. And I was like, please, little girl, I don't know who you are, but don't say that. Don't follow me. I think I blocked her. I just felt bad.
So why can't you accept the hero role?
I don't know. I think I had a lot of guilt.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I've never had anyone say that, you know, I'm their hero, so that would be very awkward if someone
You're
said
my
that.
hero.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I can see why you'd idolize me.
Well, that makes sense. You're fucking depraved. You need a hero.
But if it was just like some random little girl or little boy on Twitter or YouTube or just out in the world, I'd be like, have higher standards, please.
Right. That's exactly how I felt. Like, don't put me on a pedestal. I should be under the pedestal.
What if you did something heroic though? Like, what if you saved them from a burning car?
I would never do that.
Oh my!
May I ask why you wouldn't? Is it to save your own life? Like, or is it just like, not my problem?
I just wouldn't do it. Not my job, not my prob.
You can have like a little like catchphrase for it.
Somebody fucking needlepoint that on a pillow for me. Not my job, not my prob. Oh man. So does anybody have any other stories about a dentist or dental things?
There was that one time I was on an island and I had a really painful molar, and then this box washed ashore and there was an ice skate in it, and I knocked my molar out with this ice skate.
How?
With a rock.
With a rock?
I just bashed the rock against the blade of the ice skate, and I knocked my painful tooth out, and then I got rescued eventually.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah.
About her story.
I'm not sure if this is like serious or like I'm trying to imagine this. My brain's not working.
They made a movie about her story, and she was
Tom Hanks actually played me.
They got Tom Hanks for the role.
What's the movie called?
It's called Michelle's Story.
Yeah.
That was the working title. They ended up calling it Castaway.
Okay.
You've never seen Castaway?
No, is this a reference here? Like, I'm not getting it.
This is all a big reference.
Okay.
To her story.
Oh.
Yeah, it was back when I worked for FedEx.
So I don't have any more dentist story per se, but does anyone feel awkward at the dentist, or did it just feel at home? Because it's
I don't like it because I don't like when people put things in my mouth, as I've said. And that's pretty much all they do at the dentist. Put things in, take things out. I don't like any of it.
I kind of feel like calm and relaxed. Like there's ASMR videos of people like doing dentist stuff, and I don't watch those videos, but I kind of get it. Like for me, it's like you don't have a choice to do anything there. You just kind of sit there and just follow directions. So I can see why it's relaxing to some people, kind of to myself, but it's also kind of like really trippy. It's kind of like, yeah, like you never have people do anything with your mouth in general. So having someone just put their hand in there is like, what the fuck's going on?
I have some fillings, like in the very, very back molars. I think I got some metal back there. So I pretty much associate it with pain.
Yeah. I'm okay with a cleaning.
Yeah.
Those are okay.
I don't like Novocaine. Like I got Novocaine one time, and my whole jaw was just completely numb, and it was like really just awkward to talk and kind of just move, and I kept on like poking it and trying not to chew like my side of my mouth, and it's so difficult not to do.
I remember one time in college, a buddy had to get some dental work done. It was Nick Stewart actually, who's been on the show a couple times, and I took him there. Well, I think he drove himself, but I was there to drive him back. And he needed laughing gas or what. He needed something that put him under. But when he came to, man, he was flirting real hard with everybody.
Like male or female?
Like all the people. Like all the people, the instruments, like everything. He was
the dental instruments. He was flirting with them.
The dental instruments. He's like, man. He's like, I like you. You're real sharp. It was real weird.
Wow.
Some of the stuff they put people on, like I've seen videos of people coming out of like dental surgeries, and they get fucked up. Like it's beyond a point. Like I've seen other things.
Like David After Dentist.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the little kids on like drugs is hilarious.
Jesus Christ, Nate. Now we know your pastime.
David at the dentist was that the little kid, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
is this real life?
Is this real? Yeah, that was like I've seen some other ones and they're pretty funny, or like teenagers, but just anybody. Like people just become different people, and it's very amazing.
I'm afraid of getting my wisdom teeth out because I know they're gonna have to put me under, and I don't want to say anything embarrassing.
Oh my god, exactly the same. I got too much shit in my head that I don't want to come out, and it definitely will.
See, my problem is the same, but it's like I say things to troll people sometimes. Like I come up with funny things to say for me, but like the problem is if I say it when I'm on like some sort of drug, they're gonna take it like a revelation, like I'm coming out. And so I'm gonna say something like really stupid, but it's gonna be trolling, and they're gonna find it hilarious. But then they're like, "Really, Nate? That's how you actually are? That's what you think? You love me? No, sorry, no." But you just told me you love me, and you're under the influence. Of course you do. This is the truth. Why else would you say it?
You were still a little.
And you know they're going to record it.
Oh, definitely, because I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna record that shit. I remember after your dick surgery, you were a little loopy.
Was I?
Yeah, you kept talking about the nurses. You're like, I think they like me.
Oh, I think they did though.
What happened to your dick?
So back in the day, this was like 4 years ago.
This was like 6 months ago.
No, this is. So
Okay. The initial. I got you.
we're gonna go back to when it happened. So I passed a kidney stone, and the kidney stone. I've only passed one before, and this was terrible. Do you want to hear the story? I should ask that first.
She asked it.
I know, but now it's getting like kind of dark and gory.
Wait, what?
He's backing out of the story now because he's afraid that you're going to be uncomfortable.
Oh, I don't get uncomfortable. I make people uncomfortable.
Okay, in that case, so I'll continue on. So
Okay.
I passed a kidney stone, and it was pretty bad. It was the worst pain I've ever had because it was actually a pretty big one. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it was.
Oh, he's bragging about the size of his kidney stone.
But so I passed like one, and it kind of hurt like hell. And I was at work, and I just kind of tried making it through. And then I started passing another one. I'm like, fuck. And so eventually, I talked to my boss, and we get someone to cover for me. And this is very unusual because I never like go home sick or anything. So I get back home, and it's just the worst pain. I go in the shower, and I start punching the wall in the shower, and eventually I passed the second one, but there's an issue. It's like the skin over my my pee hole, essentially, what you can call it, it just starts fusing over. So all of a sudden, it's like no hole. It's just skin, like
Oh
one
my God.
big layer of skin. So I was an idiot. What I started doing is I started kind of like peel it and try to get it to separate.
Holy fuck, dude.
And I'm like, fuck, it's not working. Fuck.
Oh my God.
So then I found an X-Acto knife, and
Okay, this is the worst story I've ever heard. Go on. You performed dick surgery.
so I made a little opening, just enough to pee, because I had a lot of liquids that day, and I had to pee really bad, but nothing was coming out. So, are you okay?
You did DIY dick surgery?
So but it's just because I needed to pee super bad, and this was just really bad. So eventually, I got it open enough, and then I started like just kind of ripping the skin off, and I passed the second stone, and I just had to keep peeling my dick back, like the flaps, like back for about a month, and then I started having issues like with peeing, so I'd get up like 20 times a night to pee. And it wouldn't be very much, and just having all these issues like sleeping and stuff with it. And then so about like 3 or 4 years later,
Okay, go on.
Wait, did you have to cut your dick open every time you had to pee?
I just like that you did dick surgery every day for 3 years before you did something about it.
no. So the initial incision worked well enough, and it kept on like fusing back together, so I had to keep on separating it like every time I went to the bathroom, essentially. And so eventually it was fine, but then I was having all these issues like sleeping and stuff and urinating, and then come to find out that's actually a thing. So my urethra or whatever, like it fused a little too much, and so the hole was super narrow, so I wasn't able to put enough pressure through, and this causes issues with having to use the bathroom a lot and fatiguing your bladder and so on and so forth. So what we decided to do was to...
And by we, you mean you and your doctor?
Yeah, me and my doctor.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, what else would we be? I mean...
I don't know. You've already been doing DIY fucking dick surgery, so God knows who you're talking about on this one.
So we decided to do surgery. So essentially, this opened the hole up, and then they also put like a hammer tube down just to make sure there's no other like fuse places.
Hammer tube? What's
Like
a hammer tube?
Camera tube.
Oh, camera. Okay.
So they just shoved that down the whole place just to make sure there's no other fusions else in there. And Steve was there with me because I didn't want to bring my dad or mom because that'd be kind of awkward.
I was his doctor.
And what's kind of funny is so Steve is just my friend, right? We're just friends.
I think so. Yeah, you phrased that one weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been on my bed before, but who doesn't spend time on other people's beds?
That's a really good point.
But everyone thought that Steve and I were like a couple, and Steve was the bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was the twink, maybe? I don't know.
You'd be the otter, but yeah, that is how that would go.
Is that what it's called, the otter?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, and then, so I don't know if you know about this. This was really dumb.
Okay.
So they had to be on drugs. They had to be on some painkillers and stuff. And Steve told me, don't make sure you don't make any food or don't use the oven or anything before you left. Because he dropped me off at home. Because that was his main objective, just to bring me there and drop me off. Because you can't drive there.
And get the fuck out.
So Steve drops me off, and I'm doing fine. But then I start getting really hungry, and I'm still kind of loopy. So I'm like, I'm going to make some pizza.
Okay.
So I go grab the pizza out of the freezer, and I get it preheated. And then I'm like, okay, it's all good to put in. So I put it in there and then set the timer. And then I just go back to lay down because just moving is just hurting. Because any kind of friction or any kind of movement just kind of like, it's just pain. Because at this point, my dick's sewn up and stuff. And it was around 11 p.m. And then about 5 a.m. I wake up and I smell just this burning sound. Just burning. And so I'm like, is my pizza done? So then I go and check out the oven, and it's a burnt, crispy thing in there.
It's done.
Yep, it was pretty much black. The whole apartment
Well
building
done.
smelled like charcoal for a while.
It's not delivery.
It was burnt.
Wow, that poor pizza.
Did you eat it?
I did not.
Oh, I'm actually surprised by that answer.
I could have. Actually, let me see if I can find a picture here.
Could have. Oh my
I like
god.
burnt food.
Like what?
Burnt anything. Chicken,
Mm-hmm.
pizza crust.
Really? Like how burnt though? Like my dad'll eat like black toast, like
Oh, yeah.
savagely burnt.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my god, Nathan's showing me a picture. Was that a pepperoni pizza? No, that looks like just cheese.
Just cheese.
Like maybe a 5 cheese.
It was Red Baron.
Oh yeah, there you go. Wow. It's so thin. That was probably a thick crust to begin with.
It's so.
How'd you not burn down your house?
I was kind of wondering it myself because it was a bad decision. So I hope that wasn't too much information there, Michelle. I know I just met you.
No,
Hey, Michelle, remember when I asked if you wanted to come on the show and we'd talk about dentists? Sorry.
Never thought it would take this turn.
Well, you knew.
I knew.
It had to take this turn. This is the only logical conclusion.
Yeah, and I did ask.
That's definitely fair.
Yeah.
So this is actually your fault.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. So, Nate, I need to know one more thing. How are your teeth?
Pretty good.
How about you, Michelle?
Well, I'm in between, I'm in kind of dentist purgatory right now where no one's open to get me in. So we'll see.
All right, that sounds definitely good. And Peter,
You definitely weren't listening to anything she said.
I know.
Okay, that sounds terrible, Michelle, but we definitely wish you the best. And when your teeth are better, we definitely should have you back on.
Absolutely.
Nate.
I'm so happy that you invited me.
now, if someone wants to wish you the best, where would they do that?
Well, they can find me at welcometomyshow.pizza.
That will never get old.
I know, it's my favorite thing in the world. But it's also true. So that's really where you can find me. That'll link you to all my social meds and all my pod apps. So just go to that.
Welcome to my show, Pizza.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And where can they find us, Nathan?
You can find us at any of the podcast places because you've already found us, of course. But we're also at twitter.com/WNTT1.
Or facebook.com/We Need to Talk Show. Or, of course,
Podcast NH.
podcastnh.com. Click on the shows tab. And, of course, go right on down to We Need to Talk and you'll find us. Everything you need to find right there. Hey, Nate.
Yo.
We need to work on your listening skills.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Nate, we need to talk.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Courtney,
And we'd like to introduce you to Damn You Diary,
a podcast that chronicles our epic attempts to squash bad karma.
and tell you stories of our seemingly mundane lives.
You can find us at podcastnh.com.
Or on our website at damnyoudiary.com.
Cheers!